Hi, you're listening to the Listen Up Girl podcast. I'm your host, Zach Randles-Friedman. Today's Friday, August 15th. My first story is about the Supreme Court, and I just want to say something about this story before I get into it. This is a wake-up call to the LGBTQ plus community. I'm not here to start or lead a protest. I'm here to give you the truth. I'm here to put the facts in your hands so you can make a choice. You can either sit there quietly while all your rights are slowly being chipped away, or you can take action to protect them. So take this news and do what you like with it. So first story is Supreme Court could revisit the marriage equality. So 10 years after legalized same-sex marriage became legal nationwide, the U.S. Supreme Court is preparing to consider for the first time a case that could directly challenge that decision. The case stems from Kim Davis, the former Kentucky county clerk, who became a national figure in 2015 after refusing to issue marriage license to same-sex couples, citing her religious beliefs. Her refusal landed her in jail for 6 days, sparking both fierce condemnation and passionate support. Now Davis is appealing a $100,000 jury award for emotional damages, along with a $260,000 in attorney fees. Her legal argument hinges on the claim that her First Amendment protections of religious freedom shields her from personal liability. Davis and her attorneys assert that Obergefell itself was wrong, calling Justice Anthony Kennedy's majority opinion legal fiction and urging the court to overturn it. Critics have been quick to highlight the irony in Davis's personal life. This woman has been married 4 times, twice to the same man, divorced 3 times, and has 4 children. To opponents, this record undercuts her self-appointed role as a defender of traditional marriage and raises questions about her credibility in seeking to limit other marital rights. If the Supreme Court decides to take up this case this fall, it could set the stage for one of the most significant challenges to the LGBTQ plus rights in a decade. I will keep reporting this as more news comes out about this over the next several months, and let's just hope that it goes in our favor. Next, Laura Loomer's lawsuit against Bill Maher reveals more than expected. This is reported by The Advocate. Far-right advocate and political provocateur Laura Loomer has filed a defamation lawsuit against comedian and HBO host Bill Maher. Loomer alleges that a remark he made on his show Real Time with Bill Maher, suggesting she might be sleeping with Trump, cost her a possible position in the Trump White House after the 2016 election. However, in a twist, the legal team turned the spotlight on Loomer's own inflammatory rhetoric. They presented examples of her public statements, including repeated insinuations about Senator Lindsey Graham's sexuality. Loomer has accused Graham of being closeted, saying on social media, quote, "We all know you're gay, Lindsey, and that's okay," by urging him to relieve yourself of your toxic, closeted anger. During a deposition, Loomer claims several Trump staffers told her in confidence that Graham is gay, a statement made without evidence. The comments highlight Loomer's long history of using personal attacks to fuel political narratives, raising questions about whether her lawsuit will hold up under scrutiny or backfire entirely. There's been years and years that people have been saying that Senator, they call him Lady Graham with his ladybugs because that's what they say that the rent boys that he has hired say that he has these little ladybugs on his body. You can look that up and Google it because I'm not getting into it anymore. South Carolina lawmakers resigns following child exploitation charges. Robert John R.J. May III, a 38-year-old member of South Carolina's House of Representatives and former strategist for the state's House Freedom Caucus, has resigned in disgrace. May was arrested in June and charged with 10 counts of distributing sexual abuse material involving children. allegations that have rocked the conservative political circles he once influenced. In his resignation letter to the House Speaker Muriel Smith, released publicly on May 11th, May said it was in the best interest of his family and constituents that he steps down immediately. His departure leaves a cloud of scandal over the Freedom Caucus, a sanction already known for its aggressive, hardline stance on social and political issues. Again, not a drag queen that has done this to children, not a drag queen. Next story is United Church of Canada issues historic LGBTQ plus apology. The United Church of Canada has publicly apologized to the LGBTQIA plus people for its historic role perpetuating discrimination and harm. In a moving statement, church leaders admitted they are far from perfect, but said silence was no longer an option. Their quote is, "We refuse to let fear keep us silent, nor do we wish for perfectism to overtake the necessary task of publicly and explicitly addressing the legacy of oppression and discrimination." The apology is part of a broader effort to rebuild trust and create genuine inclusion within the denomination. It follows years of advocacy from queer members and allies pushing for acknowledgement of the church past and a commitment to doing better. Awesome. My next story is actor Tramell Tillman reflects on coming out. Tramell Tillman, the Emmy-nominated star of Apple TV's Severance, has opened up about the personal journey that shaped his life and career. In his 20s, while on holiday with a road trip with his mother, Tillman came out as bisexual. She was surprised but calm, simply replying, "Well, how's that going for you?" Years later, he told her he actually identified as gay. She expressed concern about potential career consequences, telling him, "I don't want you to be blackballed or pigeonholed," but also assured him that any man he brought home would be welcomed as a son. Today, Tillman is making history as the first openly gay Black man nominated in his Emmy category. He says he doesn't feel the weight of that milestone so much as an honor of joining the legacy of incredible storytellers. Congratulations, Tramell Tillman. That is amazing. Next, Russell Tovey and Tom Blyth star a new queer drama. The first trailer has dropped for Plainclothes, a tense queer drama set in 1990s New York City. The film follows Lucas, a working-class undercover officer tasked with entrapping gay men during an era when police harassment of the LGBTQ plus community was rampant. But the mission takes an unexpected turn when Lucas develops feelings for his target, Andrew, played by Russell Tovey. With themes of repression, morality, and forbidden love, the film has already earned praise after premiering at the 2025 Sundance Film Festival. Audiences can see it when it hits theaters on September 19th. I will be there. I love Russell Tovey. He's an amazing actor, and I love it that he's representing the LGBTQ plus community. My next story is about Trump's Kennedy Center's takeover and the new anti-homeless order. In a move critics say politicizes the art, Donald Trump announced he will personally host this year's Kennedy Center honors. He claims he was about 98% involved in selecting the honorees and rejected some for being, quote unquote, too woke. Meanwhile, Trump signed an executive order titled Ending Crime and Disorder on America's Streets, which frames homelessness as a public safety issue and calls for a new approach that advocates warn will criminalize vulnerable people, especially immigrants. The order mirrors rhetoric he has used to justify sending the National Guard into Washington, D.C. My next story is also about Trump. He nominates Tammy Bruce to a UN role. For those of you who don't know Tammy Bruce, she's the current State Department spokesperson and former Fox News commentator, and has been nominated by Trump to serve as a deputy ambassador to the United Nations. Bruce's political journey is notable. Once a Democrat and president of the Los Angeles chapter of the National Organization for Women, and she later became a conservative media figure. She also broke ground as the first openly gay woman to host a mainstream talk radio show. My next story is Minnesota teen says Buffalo Wild Wings worker demand she prove she was female. 18-year-old Greka Mudra has filed a discrimination complaint against Buffalo Wild Wings after she says a server followed her into the women's restroom and accused her of being in the wrong bathroom. Mudra, who is a biracial lesbian and not transgender, says the server banged on the stall door and ordered her to leave. When she came out, she said, "I'm a lady." The server allegedly told her, "Get out now." Feeling humiliated, Mudra unzipped her hoodie to show she had breasts, at which point the server left. She says the experience has left her anxious about using public bathrooms, adding, "I want to be able to use the bathroom in peace." The complaint was filed with the help of gender equality group Gender Justice. I hope she sues and gets everything she wants because she was just trying to use the bathroom and she's a woman. Leave her alone. And my last story is kind of a funny little story. Helen Mirren turns tomato talk into TV gold. So Dame Helen Mirren surprised viewers of The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon by delivering a passionate, science-filled explanation about tomatoes. The Oscar-winning actress, known for commanding on-screen presence, proved she can make even gardening lessons captivating. A reminder that her charisma extends far beyond film and stage. During the show, while Jimmy Fallon was preparing salsa, shared a surprising gardening tip. She said, "Incidentally, I just want to give you a tip about growing tomatoes. You know the little flower? Well, a good way to get a tomato out of the flower is you have to tremble the flower like this." And then she demonstrated how she gently shook the flower like tomato bloom. When awkwardly asked her to stop, she insisted it was a legitimate advice. Then she dropped this scientific and cheeky reveal. A tomato is a bisexual thing, you see. Well, it is. She explained this after looking it up herself, having had trouble with her own plants. Botanically, it's accurate. Tomatoes are flowers, are complete, meaning they contain both male and female reproductive parts, and can self-pollinate with little help like a gentle tremble. Love that little story. Thanks so much for listening to my podcast. Be sure to subscribe to my podcast. Also listen to my other podcast, Everything and Anything and a Bit Gay. It is on all podcast platforms. Thank you so much for listening, and I will talk to you on Sunday with the latest news.